What more do we know about these deadly protests in North Kivu?
Yes, Penina, just like you mentioned, there's growing frustration by the people in the east of the Democratic Republic of Congo about the continued killings of civilians in their area, and a number of people. These protests started on Friday night. A group of people attacked a vehicle that had some Congolese soldiers. They killed 2 of them and the driver as well, and torched the vehicle. And the following day on Saturday, there were protests that broke out on the streets. Hundreds of people took to the streets to denounce the continued killing that have been blamed on the Allied Democratic Forces. They clashed with soldiers, Congolese soldiers, and 3 people were killed in that attack. And another protest also happened in the city of Butembo, which is in the same province of North Kivu. People there are also very upset about the killings that happened in Beni, where about 80 people were killed, and the more recent killings where 42 people were killed. So people in that part of the DRC are calling on the government to take full control of the security in their area and protect them from these continued attacks. Penina?
Chris, how are the concerns of the protesters being addressed, especially now that Islamic State has claimed responsibility for the Wednesday killing of 42 people there?
So the DRC government recently issued a white paper about the growing insecurity in North Kivu province. They focused more on the issue of the conflict by the M23 rebels, and they said that the country is determined to defend its territorial integrity and the sovereignty by paying the ultimate sacrifice. They're saying that they are working to ensure that all the people who have been suffering these conflicts are brought back to their home. And this is a clear indication that the peace initiatives, the Luanda and the Nairobi process, might not take effect, because the government is now saying they're accusing Rwanda of violating the agreements that were made in different summits that were held to try and resolve the conflict. They're saying they have troops in Congolese territory and they have refused to remove them from their country. So they're determined to fight. And as regards the Allied Democratic Forces, the DRC Army has a joint cooperation agreement of tackling these rebels, the Islamist group, and in Beni and North Kivu area, and Ituri as well. But recently, the United Nations group of experts wrote a report implicating Uganda in secretly supporting the M23 in fighting against the Congolese government. So that has raised a lot of suspicion. Many people, political commentators and observers, are calling on the government in DRC to cut ties with Uganda and end that cooperation. So it's likely to create a lot of strained relations between DRC and Uganda.
Okay, so Chris, let's talk a little bit more about this violence. The ADF killings in Ituri and North Kivu provinces, I mean, they've intensified since mid-May. So what are authorities saying is the cause of this escalation?
Well, so the government authorities haven't issued any cause about the escalation, because they have been also asking what exactly is ADF's intention in carrying out these killings. This is a group that originally came from Uganda in the mid-1990s. It established its bases in eastern DRC and has been killing civilians. They are a group of Islamist radicals, and the government of the DRC hasn't yet established why exactly this group is killing civilians in Congolese territory, because this was a group that vowed to remove the government of President Museveni. They were flushed out of Uganda and entered the DRC. So they haven't given any statement yet about the cause of the escalating killings, but they have said that they're preparing themselves to take charge of their security. They have already asked United Nations peacekeeping mission, MONUSCO, to leave their country. They asked the East African community to leave, and they are now preparing to take charge of their security. It's going to be a tall order. There are a number of issues with the Congolese army, but they are saying that they have no alternative but to defend their territorial integrity.